Act 1. Iron Coffin, Missing Queen. AKA, everyone's screwed and she's in a box. Okay, so, when this book opens, the world is actively collapsing and the woman who normally handles this sort of thing is sealed inside an iron coffin. Aelin Galathynius, fire-breathing menace, overqualified war solution, has been captured by Maeve, Queen of the Fae, who decided that killing her would be too easy and breaking her would be more efficient. Because of course she did. Subtlety truly is dead. Maeve doesn't even do the hands-on work herself. No, she outsources. Enter Ken. Remember that guy? He's Maeve's sadistic enforcer, the kind of man who hears torture and thinks, finally, a hobby. So it's not just isolation, it's methodical cruelty. No light, no sound, no sense of time. And Ken shows up like a calendar reminder to make sure pain stays on schedule. Cool. Sensory deprivation. Classic villain self-care. Aelin doesn't know if it's been days or months. Her body hurts in ways she can't map anymore. Sleep and waking blur together. Pain just shows up whenever it wants. Uninvited, persistent, like trauma. Maeve visits occasionally, like a therapist from hell, repeating the same demand every time. Yield. Give me your fire. Stop fighting. And here's the important thing. Aelin doesn't survive this by being brave. She survives this by being stubborn. She counts breaths. She recites names. She clings to memories like they're physical objects she can hold onto so she doesn't float away entirely. Which is not inspiring, it's just necessary. This is not triumphant. This is grim, quiet endurance. Which is somehow worse. I miss the fire. Like, I logically understand why it's gone, but I still miss it. And yeah, it gets worse. Fenris is imprisoned too. Aelin's sworn ally, the one who chose her when everything else was burning. Bound by blood oath, forced to watch, unable to intervene. Because nothing says villain like weaponizing loyalty. Meanwhile, because this universe is rude, the rest of the world keeps moving. Terrasen is bracing for invasion. Erawan's forces are mobilizing. Magic is unstable. Everyone is fighting a war without their strongest player, and nobody knows if she's alive. And here's the thing the book makes very clear. They don't stop. The court Aelin built holds the line. Aedion, Lysandra, the armies, the alliances. Fighting anyway, because stopping would mean losing everything she fought for. And Rowan? He searches. He doesn't give up. He doesn't accept the silence. He follows instinct, scraps of intel, and a bond that refuses to go quiet. Tearing across a collapsing world looking for her while the war rages on without them. Eventually, after what feels like an illegal amount of suffering, the rescue comes. Not as a plan, as a gamble. It's Rowan, Lorcan, Fenris, Gabriel, Elide. And I need you to picture this not as a clean strike, but as a deeply unhinged last-ditch break-in by people who have already accepted death as a possible outcome. They break into Maeve's stronghold like people who are not planning retirement. When they find Aelin, the victory condition is brutally simple. She's breathing. That's it. That's the bar. And it is a devastatingly low bar, but everyone treats it like a miracle. She doesn't leap up. She doesn't crack a joke. She barely reacts at all. Her fire, the thing everyone associates with her, is so buried it might as well not exist. But they get her out. They run. They escape by inches. And then everything slows down. Because now she's free. And she is very clearly not okay. Loud noises freeze her. Sudden movement sends her straight into a panic. Decisions overwhelm her. Her body keeps waiting for the pain to come back, like it's just off screen, running late. The war does not care. They travel towards Terrasen anyway because, like life, armies do not pause for trauma recovery. Deeply inconsiderate of them, honestly. Aelin tries to disappear into strategy. Maps, numbers, planning. If she can't feel, she can at least function. Her instinct is still the same one she's always had. I'll take it all. I'll burn alone. No one else needs to pay. Which has historically been a terrible plan, but a consistent one. But something is different now. She hesitates. And for someone whose brand has always been reckless, decisive action, that hesitation is terrifying. To her, and to everyone watching. Rowan doesn't push her. He doesn't demand fire or speeches or leadership. He stays. Which turns out to be the most radical thing anyone does all book. Act 2. Witches, walls and wars on every front. AKA, everyone is bleeding and nobody gets a day off. Alright, deep breath. You will need several. This is where Kingdom of Ash stops being one woman recovering from trauma and becomes a full-scale logistical nightmare happening everywhere at once. Aelin is technically free now, but she is not leading from the front the way everyone expects. Her fire is still banked. Her confidence is fragile. She's operating on calculation, not instinct, which is growth and also a red flag. She stays in the command tent. She lets other people take the field. This is new. This is uncomfortable. This is, apparently, necessary. Also deeply offensive to anyone hoping for a cool flaming entrance and a 3-minute fix. And while Terrason is shoring up defenses and doing war math that never adds up, everything else starts detonating. Let's talk witches because, wow, that escalates quickly. Manon Blackbeak is leading the Iron Teeth Witches, which already feels illegal given where she started. She has rejected her grandmother's doctrine, embraced her Croken heritage, and chosen compassion in a society that treats mercy like a character flaw. Shockingly, this is not a popular management style. The Iron Teeth are restless. The Crokens are fractured. Unity is fragile. Then the Valgatak. And the 13, Manon's 13, see what's coming before anyone else does. They don't hesitate, they don't ask, they buy time with their lives. It's fast, it's brutal. It is not dressed up as noble or beautiful. One moment they're there, the next, they're gone. And the sky itself feels wrong afterwards. Manon survives, which is not the same thing as being okay. She screams, she breaks. She has to be held together by Abraxas and sheer will. And in that moment, soaked in loss, she becomes queen of the witches. Not through conquest, through sacrifice. And if you're thinking, that's illegal, yes, the author will be hearing from my lawyer. It's me. I'm the lawyer. I'm crying. Somewhere far away, Aelin feels that loss like a physical blow. She doesn't comment on it. She just adds it to the growing ledger of reasons this war is personal now. Meanwhile, Elide Loken continues doing the most with the least. No magic, no protection, no safety net. Just awareness, timing, and the absolute refusal to die. She keeps Lorcan anchored to reality when his instinct is to self-destruct in penance. Their dynamic is quiet but crucial. Elide survives by thinking. Lorcan survives by listening. Neither makes it alone. And the book never lets you forget that Elide's survival is earned. Every step costs something. This is not plot armor. This is grit with consequences. Elsewhere, Irene Towers is having the worst internship of all time. She arrives as a healer and quickly realizes the injuries aren't just physical. Soldiers are hollowed out, possessed, consumed from the inside. So Irene, compassionate and terrifyingly competent, starts asking questions. She studies, she experiments, she pushes her magic past the syllabus. And then she discovers it. Her healing magic doesn't just repair. It destroys the Valg. Quietly, completely. Like the universe finally found the correct setting. She isn't a weapon. She's the answer. Which is an insane amount of responsibility for someone who absolutely did not sign up for this. But, here we are. Back in Terrason, the pressure keeps closing in. The walls are barely holding, supplies are strained, casualties keep climbing, and Aelin is still holding herself back, terrified that if she unleashes her fire and loses control again, she won't survive it this time. People are scared. They want their queen. They want the legend. They want the woman who burns problems until they stop existing. Unfortunately, that option is currently unavailable. Cool. Love that for everyone. Aelin feels that expectation like hands on her throat. And here's the shift. She doesn't snap, she doesn't run, she doesn't martyr herself. which is frankly shocking behaviour for her. She starts trusting. She lets Rowan lead charges. She listens to Dorian. She folds Irene's discoveries into strategy instead of dismissing them. She treats Manon as an equal ruler, not a weapon to be aimed. This is slower, harder leadership without theatrics. And unfortunately, this war does not care about personal growth, because a new reality starts taking shape in camp, passed between commanders, healers, and people who know too much lore for comfort. There is a way to end this. The lock, the word keys, the gods. A solution that could stop the war if someone is willing to pay the cost. Everyone hates this idea on sight. Aelin hears it and goes still, because she already knows what the cost will be. She always has. Surviving this war may require something worse than dying, and the person everyone expects to make that choice has already given more than enough. Act 3. The lock, the lie, and the aftermath nobody walks away from. AKA, the gods get fired and the bill comes due. And yeah, that's when the universe stops pretending there's a clean way out. Because the only solution left isn't a battle, it's a sacrifice. Not to win the war, to end it. The lock, the gods. Which sounds mythic until you realize they're basically debt collectors with better lighting. Cold, demanding, deeply uninterested in the world actively ending downstairs. Have you ever tried to reschedule an end-of-the-world event? Yeah, same energy. They want payment. Blood, power, soul. Not metaphorical, not symbolic, very literal, very rude. Aelin bargains anyway, because of course she does, trying to pay Elena's debt with her own body, like that has ever worked for her. And the gods destroy Elena anyway. No mercy, no trade, just a cosmic thanks for playing. Marla slips Aelin a kernel of power, not a rescue. A match. So Aelin does the only reasonable thing left. She shoves the gods back through the gate and slams it shut behind them. Evicted, furious, and absolutely not invited back. No forwarding address. And if you felt betrayed, good, that's correct. The lock takes most of her fire. Not all, but enough that she will never be infinite again. Which is rude, terrifying, permanent. And then, because the universe does not pause for symbolism, the war keeps going. Maeve dies by Aelin's hand. Personal, earned, burned. Not a trick, not an accident. Aelin gets close enough, with Dorian holding Maeve's mind games at bay, and drives Goldrin into her. Fire finishes what the coffin started. She gets ended by the woman she tried to break. And then there's Erawan, undone by Irene. Not destroyed like a monster, but healed out of existence. Because he's Valg, a parasite, and Irene's magic restores what he hollowed out. She heals him completely, and something that only exists through rot cannot survive wholeness. Terrasen survives. Not cleanly, not without loss, but standing. And Aelin, no longer endless, no longer a weapon, stands with it. Rowan stays. She lets him. Together they take their places, not as myths, but as people who survived long enough to choose what comes next. So, yeah, this is the end of an entire era. 8 books of knives, crowns, bad coping mechanisms, and one woman spending her whole life sprinting from assassin to queen like the universe is chasing her with a receipt. And at the very end of all that, she survives an iron coffin, fires the gods, loses most of her fire, watches the world bleed, and chooses to live anyway. Not as a legend, not as a weapon, but as a woman who is very, very tired and still standing. Which, it turns out, is the most dangerous version of her yet. When Kingdom of Ash first came out, we really thought that was the end. Which, looking back, adorable. Because apparently the Maasverse is just getting started. And yes, ACOTAR 6 is drafted. But as of today, there's still no official release date. So we will be rereading, annotating, and emotionally pre-grieving like professionals. Drop your meltdown in the comments. The sacrifice that ruined you, the moment you had to put the book down, the character you will never emotionally recover from. Like, subscribe, hydrate, because this feels like an ending. But in this universe, endings are often just pauses with better lighting. This has been a full LOL lit meltdown, unhinged by fiction, held together by vibes. Mwah.